Hello everyone and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Walmart exclusive Captain America from Avengers Endgame, also known as the Worthy Cap or Power and Glory Cap. But we have Captain America here in the front window, the Avengers logo, his name, we got his shield, and then Mjolnir is actually hidden behind the shield, so it is there though. Avengers logo at the top, but you don't get any kind of Build-A-Figure piece there because this is not part of a standard wave. But we do have some artwork here on the side of Chris Evans' Captain America, and then once again on the back there are no figures again, as this is not part of a wave but a standalone exclusive. But we do have the read up here. Steve Rogers prepares for the ultimate battle to save the universe and channels all of his strength as Captain America. And down here at the bottom you have the UPC code, so you can check with your local Walmart to see if they have this in stock. This is part of the Avengers assortment though, so that may be kind of hard to pinpoint if your Walmart has a lot on there, a lot in stock that is. But enough about that, let's go ahead and get this open and take a look at Captain America. And here is Captain America outside of his packaging, and dare I say, we may have finally gotten our definitive MCU Captain America figure. There's a lot of things that I like about the sculpt work here and the overall figure, aside from the fact, of course, that we get a gripping hand for holding on to Mjolnir there. There's a lot of things about this figure that are improvements over previous versions, which we'll do some comparisons and kind of take a look at those improvements. But yeah, this figure is pretty cool looking, and of course he does have some very cool accessories as well. Now when standing straight up, this figure is coming in at about 6¼ inches tall, which makes him about 15.9 centimeters. And as mentioned, he does come, of course, with the shield and the hammer, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at those and then get a better look at Captain America. And here are all the accessories that we get with this version of Captain America. So we do get the alternate unmasked head sculpt, but we're going to look at that when we get a better look. So let's start first with the shield. So this shield is very similar to the one that we've seen with some of the newer Captain America figures, and it's got the same sculpt work and everything like that, but we do have just some bullet marks and some scuffs and things like that to really make it look a little bit more beaten up. And I know a lot of people were really hoping for the jagged cut shield, but at this point, if you're like me, you may have enough of these that you could just take one of your extras and do it yourself if you wanted to. And then taking a look at, of course, one of the bigger pieces that everyone was excited about, getting Mjolnir. And the only issue I see, and I've seen this on a few others, you do have a pretty nasty mold mark there where I assume this is probably injection or something like that. I don't know much about molds, but yeah, that's kind of ugly. But the rest of the hammer there looks really, really cool, and I like it a lot. Very well done. Yeah, very, very cool. But yeah, let's go ahead now and get a better look at Captain America. And starting first here with the unmasked head sculpt, we get another great Chris Evans sculpt, similar to what we got with the Crossbones 2-pack with Captain America. And in fact, this is actually the same head. It just has a different hairpiece applied, so you can kind of see how that was glued on there. And yeah, the head is the same though. But we do get a little bit different flesh tone and a different paint job. The blue eyes really stand out a lot more, in my opinion, on this new one. But I like how this looks. The hair looks good. Yeah, looks like it did in the movie. And again, the paint and the sculpt work look great on here. Looking at the Captain America masked head. There we go. And we can see another really well done sculpt and those blue eyes coming out again. And yeah, I think this looks really cool too. Yeah, well done. And the piece, the helmet is actually a glued on separate piece, because you can kind of see that it looks more like a mask versus, for example, this is the Endgame quantum suit, where it's a sculpted mask, but we actually have this look where it looks like a mask sitting on top of his face. So I like that. Going down the rest of the figure, so we have a very cool looking upper torso, which is similar to the upper torso that we had with the Infinity War, but a little bit different. So we can see we have scales and things like that around the star, and of course the star is back, whereas on this one the star was removed. And we saw some hint of those scales there on the Infinity War one, where it was ripped and things like that. But if you look at, for example, the collar is the same, and a lot of the design around the star is the same. So very similar. I think they may have taken basically the same upper torso and just added the scales and the star back in. Something that is new, though, we do have these shoulder pads that are actually on there, as opposed to, again, being sculpted pieces that we've gotten in the past. So I like that. The arms came out looking very good, and this is actually very muscular looking arms compared to, so what we got here? I think this is the Civil War one. I don't know, I feel like these are, these are some bigger biceps. So, but I like that. It looks really good. We get a fisted hand on this side, which is going to be mostly a shield holding hand. And then, of course, we get a gripping hand on this side for holding Mjolnir. Then looking down, so again, to grab the Infinity War cap. So we have different paint, but we have the same lower torso there. So you can kind of see where some of the shapes and things like that are the same, but we do have different paint, but it still looks good. And these are the same boots as well, so that looks really good too. I got a little bit of a flashing there on the top of that boot, though. A little bit of a bummer, but oh well. And you got a peg hole at the bottom, but yeah, I really like that. This is just a very well done cap. There you go, America's ass. But yeah, it looks good. Looking at the articulation, you have a head that goes side to side without any issue. It can look down. It can look down a little stiff, but he can look down pretty far. And he can look up a fair amount as well. With the shoulders, you can sort of tuck them under, or in some cases, let's see if I can get it to do it this time. I actually had this shoulder pad kind of come out. There we go. Maybe. Yeah, it was really weird trying to get the shoulder pad. There we go. To get the shoulder pad to come out on top, and then you can raise it up without too much of an issue. But I also found on this side, when I was trying to pose him with the hammer, that I was putting the shoulder pads underneath. So those shoulder pads are a little unique challenge to the articulation, so you'll have to kind of mess with that. But you do have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, and then both hands have a rotation and hinge on it. You have an ab crunch that can come down about that far, back that far, so that's pretty good. Waist rotation, legs that can come apart a pretty fair amount. Kick forward, meh, not bad. Backwards, hardly at all. Upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, boot cut, and then you do have a hinge. Oh man, this one's really stiff, but a hinge and ankle pivot. And real quick, here we are taking a look at some of the unmasked head sculpts that we've gotten in the recent years for Captain America, starting on the far left with the Civil War 3-pack head sculpt. Then we have the Marvel Studios first 10 years 2-pack with Cap and Crossbones. Then we have the Infinity War Captain America, and then we have this latest Worthy Cap head sculpt. And yeah, I think that the Worthy Cap head sculpt is going to be the definitive Captain America, both for the body sculpt and the head sculpt, in my opinion, followed by this guy right there. I still like that head sculpt, and I think it looks good for the earlier versions of Captain America before he had his long hair. And in case you're wondering if you can use the quantum suit body with this new head sculpt, the answer is yes, you can, but you're going to have to heat up the peg there, or rather the head itself, because it is too big to go in there on its own without a little assistance. Be advised, though, if you do that, it is probably going to stretch this out to a point where it may not be usable, or at the very least as usable on the standard body. So honestly, though, I think that this will look better on this body with the unmasked head. And then I think I'm going to be continuing to use the helmeted body or helmeted head sculpt on the Worthy Cap, just because that's kind of, I mean, he was wearing his mask when he was wielding Mjolnir, so I think that's going to be how I'm going to have that. And real quick, here is just another side-by-side of some of the recent Captain America figures that we've gotten. So again, on the far left with the Civil War 3-pack, the Marvel Studios first 10 years, the Worthy Cap or the Power and Glory Cap in the middle, the Infinity War Cap on the right, and then on the far right we have the Quantum Suit Endgame Cap. And finally, here is our Power and Glory Captain America standing next to the Armored Thanos Build-A-Figure. And if you're like me, these two are going to be doing battle in my display case very, very soon. And if there is one thing that I could have gotten out of this particular figure here, it would have been a corrected piece for this Build-A-Figure to get an arm without the Infinity Gauntlet. I think that would have been really cool, and I know it's asking a lot, but I think it would have been really cool to get a corrected piece so we could have a film-accurate version of this Thanos. And that about does it for this review, everyone, and make sure to check down below. I will be leaving a comment with my final thoughts, but I will tell you, as soon as I got this pose in, yeah, I really like this figure, and I want to know what you think. Leave that comment down below. Is this just another Captain America figure that we didn't need, or are you as excited about it as I am to get something like this going? So leave that comment down below. If you like this review or the figure, make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe for more content just like this. And aside from that, thanks for watching my video, and have a great day.